Welcome to practice. I'm Donna Cavanough. We're going to begin laying down and having a blanket handy. It's always useful in a yoga practice. Doesn't matter if you don't have one. We're going to lay down with the soles of the feet together, and if you can, touching each toe to each toe, knees out wide in Supta Baddha Konasana. Put your arms where it feels good, and that might be by your side, palms rolling up, or even arms out from the shoulders. You could try cactus arms or arms overhead, whatever feels nice for your shoulders. And take some deep breaths now. If for any reason this feels too strong to begin your practice, then put your feet so they're hip width and parallel with your legs bent, and feel the soles of the feet on the floor. Take time to notice the breath and how you feel. Nice. Bring your feet now so they're hip width parallel, legs bend, and press your lower back into the floor as you exhale. As you inhale, lifting your lower back away from the floor. And we're going to follow the breath with this movement of finding movement along the spine. Bring your arms back by your sides if you had them elsewhere. And now, as you lift your lower back, as you inhale, take your arms overhead. And as you exhale, back to the floor beside you. Feel as though you're floating your arms on the breath. Nice work. Press your lower back into the floor, arms straight up and feet off the floor so your knees are over your hips. And we're going to take the left leg and the right arm away from center. It doesn't have to be a long way, or it might even be quite straight and out towards the floor, and come back to center. So you make the movement as big as feels good for your body, and keep pressing your lower back into the floor. Good, and we come back to center. So pressing your lower back, relaxing your face and your throat, and really reaching. Feeling the satisfaction of the breath as the core body works here. Last one. Finishing with the right leg, left arm. Hug your knees into your chest and rocking a little from side to side. Noticing how your lower back feels. Good. And then happy baby pose. If you're not quite reaching your feet, then hold your clothing or your leg. And so your lower back is lengthening, broadening. Good. And the belly is relaxed. We just investigate how the hips feel here. Breathe deeply so you can feel the flow of breath in the belly. Feel the floor, the building, the earth supporting you. Relaxing your shoulders. Lovely. Let's straighten one leg, and you might not go all the way to straight, but just finding your big stretch and your resistance. Good, and then bend that leg and second side. Relaxing the belly. Good, and back to the first side. See if you can straighten a little bit more. And last side, straighten a little bit more. Nice work. Back into your Baddha Konasana position now. See if you can get each toe touching. Relax the shape of your spine. Deep breath into the belly. Nice work. And we're going to bring the knees together. You can roll to your right to come up to sitting, or cross your feet at your ankles and roll your spine up. Good. We're going to come into a kneeling position. Now, kneeling might be out of the question for some people's knees, in which case, sit up onto your blanket with your feet out in front. And otherwise, you can use your blanket and make an extra little pillow of support underneath your sit bones. Tuck your heels in under your hips so your femur bones, your thigh bones are parallel. And sitting tall in Virasana. We're going to interlock the fingers and press the palms out in front and give the space between your shoulder blades a really big stretch as you take the palms forward. Good. And then we're going to take the arms up, and you're going to notice where your shoulders resist, that moment where it's not easy for the arms to keep going. Good. And then relax your neck, relax your throat. Draw the shoulder blades down, and then see if you can take the arms further. We keep the underside of the chin parallel to the floor. Really press out through your index fingers. Good, and then releasing. And change the interlock of your fingers. Press out through the palms. Relaxing your neck. And as you take your palms up and out now, finding that spot that the shoulders just don't seem to want to move past, and relax. So make more space around your shoulders, around your neck, and then really press out through the palms of the hands. Stretching palms up, index fingers up towards the ceiling, little fingers back. Good, relaxing neck and throat, and then releasing your arms. Good work. We're going to kneel up, and you might like to put your blanket under your knees, and you can make it extra thick onto your mat. So kneeling up and your thigh bones are parallel, your shin bones are parallel. And we're going to do backstroke, one arm at a time, lifting up and reaching back, and reach down the back of the thigh towards the knee. And then second side, and you're going to keep going in your own time and really enjoying finding the movement in your ribs and your shoulders, your back bend. Find the flow of your breath, satisfying, supporting, revitalizing, and lift powerfully the front of your thighs now. So you can really feel the front of the hip lifting, the buttock muscles lifting. Okay, we're going to try and take both arms back now, holding your thighs in the direction of your knee. Good, and lifting powerfully the front of the thighs and lifting the heart center. Feel the heart shining skyward. Reach back through the top of the head so there's lots of length in the sides of the neck, and breathing deeply. Beautiful, Ustrasana. And then we're going to come into an all fours position. Just leave the blanket under your knee. And in the all fours position, we're going to arch the spine in the opposite direction. Take it as slow as you need. And arching up and down. Feel the flow of breath. And all the muscle to make this movement along the spine, along the belly. Hold the spine arching up to the ceiling. Just let your head hang down. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Beautiful. And then we're going to come back up into our kneeling up position. Swim both arms back like a backstroke butterfly. And holding the back of the thighs again. Really lift the front of the thighs. Lift the front of the hips. We're trying to keep the lower legs parallel. So the legs are working strongly here. Lift the buttock muscles. Not with your hands, with the muscular attention. Good. And we lift the belly. Shine the heart upward. Find the satisfying breath. Very nice. And then we're going to bring our hands back onto the floor. So we're in that all fours position again. And arch your spine up to the ceiling. So these are the two opposite ends of that spinal movement. Take some nice deep breaths. And then let's just arch up and down. Let that be gentle and compassionate movement for the spine. Enjoying the satisfaction of your breath. Great. We're going to take this back bend ability now and lay down onto the floor on your tummy. So just take the blanket out. Hands underneath the shoulders. Face off the floor, and we're lifting the chest. Elbows in by your side. Press the tops of the feet. Good. And then we're going to lift the chest as high as we can off the floor. Look forward and then gently lower down. And as you lower down, try to lengthen your front body. And we'll touch the forehead gently to the floor. And then lifting again. So it's going to be a lift and lower. Pay attention to that muscular activity in your back body. The buttocks around the spine. Keep the legs feeling active. Good. And we're going to do one more lift. Strong buttocks, strong back. And see if you can lift your hands off the floor. Just a little way. Maybe you need to keep them on the floor. Good, and then we'll lower down. We're going to do two more lifts, and if you can lift your hands off the floor when you lift up, then do that. And lifting and lowering. And one more lifting. Hands are off the floor. Very nice. Good. Bring your hands out in front now. So nice long straight line. Lift up onto your fingertips. And then we're going to lift the head and look forward, lift the chest. So the arms are out straight in front. You're up on the fingertips. And we're lifting the chest. Stretch back through the feet. Good. We're going to start to lift up and slide the hands back towards you for support. So your arms are straight. Take the tops of the shoulders back. You don't want to lift so high that it feels like it's squashing your lower back. So you might keep your hands way out in front. Maybe they move back towards you. But listen to your back here. We want to keep space between the bones of the spine and squeezing the buttock muscle. Very nice. And then we're going to lay the head onto the hands. So just stack the hands softly under the forehead. And then wobble your pelvis from side to side. So we soften all that work in the joints between the sacrum, the pelvis, and the lower back. Nice work. Bring your elbows under your shoulders now for Sphinx pose. Forearms parallel, legs are parallel, and we're going to lift as many ribs off the floor as we can and looking forward. Nice work. Looking forward, lifting the heart, breathing deeply. That is lovely. And imagine you could lift your ribs and your hip bones off the floor, even your thighs, so that you start to be up onto your knees and then lower down the hips back to the floor. Lift the heart again. Okay, lifting the hips, lifting the thighs. Good, lowering down, looking forward again. One more lift, lifting the hips, lifting the thighs. That's hard work. And lowering down. Nice work. We're going to press ourselves up, so hands under the shoulders, back into an all fours position and arching the spine up and down. Lovely. And then finding Balasana, child's pose. And in Balasana, you're looking for the feeling of letting go of that tension of the back bends. So there was a lot of muscular activity going on there. And we're going to let go of what we can. Enjoying the satisfying flow of breath. Nice work. All right, we're going to come up to standing from here, however your movement helps you do that. And I'm going to go from kneeling, tucking the toes under, into a squat, and then standing from there. Okay, at the front of the mat, in Tadasana, we're going to make a forward bend, but we're going to keep the back bend shape. So here in Tadasana, think about your back bend shape, the bones of the spine pressing forward. Lovely. Arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then come into your Uttanasana and put your hands up on your legs as high as you need to, maybe up on the thighs, to keep your back bent. Nice. And keeping your back bend, we're going to just tip the weight a little bit further forward so you can feel the weight in the balls of the feet, each toe, and start to straighten your leg. Without putting that tightness into the back. Put your hands where they make sense, but work on straightening your leg. Good. And then bend the knees, and we'll roll up, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, and then Tadasana. And we're going to do one more of those. Urdhva Hastasana. And Uttanasana, keep your back bent. Take your hands as far as makes sense without compromising your back bend feeling, and work on straightening your leg. Whether that's one at a time or two together, lift the kneecap, the quadriceps, the sit bone, and find your stretch. Top of the head reaching forward or down to the floor so the back of the neck is long. Chest is broad and spacious. The flow of breath is satisfying. Nice work. Bend your knees and roll. Arms up. Nice work. And Tadasana. Urdhva Hastasana. Hands in Namaste. Step your left foot back, and we want quite a distance from front to back foot. So your back heel probably isn't on the floor. And we're going to bend the front knee. Just take your time to find your balance here. So I'm working with feet hip width distance and parallel. But you might want to take your feet a little wider towards the sides of the mat. That'll give you better a bigger foundation, so most probably better balance. Good. And then we're going to take the arms up by the ears. This is Virabhadrasana 1. Pressing the back heel, lowering the front knee, lifting the front of the hips, finding your back bend again, and breathing. Ooh, beautiful. Hands in front of your heart. We'll do a simple balance here. Stepping forward, balancing on the right foot, bring the left foot in front. Lift the front of the thighs. Lift the front of the hips powerfully. Lengthen the lower back now. Finding your balance and your core body really stabilizing. Good. If you've been practicing holding your knee or your foot, do that. Good. And then Tadasana. Good. Lift the front of the hip. Notice how that lengthens the lower back. Urdhva Hastasana. Hands in Namaste. Big step back with the right foot. So we want a good distance front to back. Your back heel's probably off the floor, but press it down so the back leg is straight. Bend your front leg. Take your time to find your good balance. So take your feet wider if that feels better. Some people, the classic style here is to turn the heel down towards the center. I like the parallel feet. Good, and we're lifting the heart. Lovely. Arms up by the ears and really reaching the arm. Pressing your back heel, lowering the hips a little further forward, lengthening the lower back, tailbone reaching down. Good work. And release. And we're going to step forward and balance on the left foot. Right foot in front. Take your balance, hold if you've been working on that or just with your leg in front. Lift the front of the hips, so lengthening your lower back. Good, and then we take Tadasana. Lovely. We're going to take the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, and then Uttanasana, and feeling that you still have your back bend, but we're going to take our forward bend to stretch the legs. Take your time to lengthen your neck, make space around your shoulders, find the flow of your breath. Feel the connection of each toe to the floor. Where the weight is in your feet, if the feet sink in, so you tend to a little flatness in that arch, try to lift the inner ankle bone. So you really get the feeling that the feet know what they're doing with a little help from awareness. Lengthening the spine, lengthening your lower back, middle back, and the neck. So you could touch your head to your toes. We'd look funny if we could do that. Bend the knees and rolling up and arms up. Urdhva Hastasana and Tadasana. Nice work. Arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, hands in front of your heart. We're going to take the left foot back, not quite so far. So the heel, left heel, needs to touch the ground and press down into the ground. Good. We're going to have the hands in front of the heart. Take your torso forward over that front straight leg until you feel like you can't keep going. And then bend the front leg and take the torso even further forward. And can you still feel your back bend shape? Good. Now you can keep your hands at your heart, put them on your leg or put them on the floor. And I know it's harder to balance if they're just on the leg. So I'll do that too. So we're balancing and then start to, balanced on 2 feet, start to straighten your front leg. So you feel that stretch, and we're not stretching the lower back. The lower back is in its back bend shape as much as you can, the middle back in your back bend shape. Straightening the front leg. Lovely. And then we're going to lift up, step the left foot forward, and we're going to be balanced on the right leg, and we'll do one of our hip movements. Left leg, the left knee, is going to make an infinity symbol or a figure 8 on the side in front. Lower leg nice and relaxed, just following along. Good. And then finding your Tadasana, feet hip width parallel. Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing arm. Uttanasana, feeling your back bend. Good. We're going to lift up from here, bring the hands in front of the heart. Step the right foot back. Okay, we want a good stretch front to back, but the right heel pressing down onto the floor. Finding your balance. Strong, straight legs here. Good. Hands are at the heart. We're going to lift the heart and bring your back bend shape forward as you reach the torso forward over the front straight leg. Find that moment of resistance where you just can't move any further without deforming the shape of the back. And then we're going to bend the leg instead. And then see if you can take your torso further forward. Good. And then see how you go. Straightening the front leg, finding your resistance. Ooh. You can have your hands on your leg or on the floor if you reach. Nice work. We are going to lift up, step forward, be balanced on the left leg. And then nice and loose in your right leg. Draw your infinity symbol with your knee. And standing tall. Feeling the lift of the front of the hips, the belly, the heart, the top of the head, and the reaching down of the tailbone, that lovely stabilizing movement. Other direction. Good. And then releasing Tadasana. Okay. We're going to practice our squatting now. And it can be really helpful just to have something out in front of you. I've got my lounge chair here. So what I could do, and you might have something in your room like this, is just put your hands on your chair. So when you go to practice your squat, you've got your hands resting. I'm just going to show you though without any furniture, but if you need to use something, then find that. We'll start with the feet around your hip width. So heels around hip width and toes turned out a little. So if you bend your knees a little bit, your thighs and your feet go in the same direction. Okay, and you can adjust that. So whatever is going to feel best for your knees. We're going to go as far as we can, so the knees are fine, but the heels stay on the floor. And don't go further than the heels can stay on the floor. So we find where that is. Hands in front of your heart, or you're reaching them out and just reaching out for a piece of furniture. Good. And we want to really lift the pelvic floor, lift the heart. Good. Press powerfully into your heels and lift up. So it should feel like it's work in your legs. Good. Keeping the heels down really makes that extra work. So we want to do that. Let's do 2 more of those. Good. So bending the knees only as far as you can keep your heels on the floor. Good, really lifting the pelvic floor and pressing the heels, lifting up. So if you're feeling any tugging in your knees, maybe the feet need to be at a slightly different angle. And you can really only learn what that is by experiment. It's different for each person, but don't hurt your knees. So only go so far as your knees can manage. All right, so heels on the floor, 1 more. I find if I can take my knees out further, I can get closer to the floor. Heels stay down, lifting the pelvic floor, heels press down to lift up. Nice work. And all of that is in aid of trying to sit without using the hands, but of course, using the hands might be the wise choice. So we're going to sit down now. So practicing paying attention to each of the movements that allow you to sit on the floor. And sitting up onto a blanket. Simple cross-legged position. And if that doesn't suit your knees, then legs can be wide out in front. We're going to make a forward bend shape, but to bring the spine forward, we'll make a back bend feeling first. So hands behind the hips, lifting the heart. And feel as the bones of the whole length of your spine reach forward. Lower back, middle back, neck, And then starting to bring that shape forward by lifting the belly and reaching out over the legs. Some people have a lot of movement here. You can bring your hands in front, otherwise keep your hands behind you. And exploring your forward movement without compromising that back bend feeling of the spine. Finding the flow of your breath. Finding your forward mobility here. Finding your resistance. Appreciating both. Coming up, so you can change the cross of the legs, so other leg on top or in front. Finding your spine back bend shape and then taking that forward. Lovely. Come back up to center. We're going to take both of the feet over to the right side for Bharadvajasana. So organize your feet as tidily as you can next to your right hip. You can have your legs out more in front and straighter if your knee needs that. The blanket is more useful if it's mainly under the left sit bone and not under the right. So if your feet are on the right, that is, the blanket is under the left sit bone. And we're going to turn to the left and lean back and give yourself a really big stretch in the core body and then lift yourself to upright. Turning the ribs, following the breath, and finding your movement, your space, and your breath. Lovely. Releasing yourself and swapping over to the second side where your right hip bone is up onto your blanket. We're going to turn to the right side. If you lean back, you'll get that bigger movement in the belly, and you're right down in the lower back, and then lift your torso perpendicular to the floor so you can turn your ribs. Finding your breath, space, and movement. Lovely. Come back to center, taking a seat. Comfortable legs, cross-legged if that's comfortable. Bringing your hands in front of your heart. Connecting to your breath and to the feeling of your spine, the energy flow along the spine. spaciousness around your heart from your back bend shape. And take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.